from the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Hello everyone, I want to share with you and get your opinion on something. As you all know, I put a lot of detail into my forecast. So much so that my forecast here lately, because there's so much going on with the weather, can somewhere be upwards of 15, 20, and sometimes even over 20 minutes long. That's great if you have time to sit down and watch the forecast. But I want to make Weather NorCal as versatile as possible. I want to make sure that those of you that don't have a lot of time can still get the forecast from Weather NorCal, watch me, and then be out within 2 to 3 minutes. And for the rest of you, if you want more detail and have the time to watch that detail, you can then, after that forecast, watch all of the detail that I typically go into. So tell me what you think. I want you to watch this. I'll kind of walk you through the format as we go through it, and then tell me what you think. You can email me at mkruger@weathernorcal.com. You can instant message me on Facebook, and you can also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment in the comment section below. So we're going to start off with just your forecast for the day. Now, at noon, I go with the overall look for the entire area, but in the morning and in the evening, I do that fly through, and you'll see that here in the evening forecast. But there you see I have a chance for thunderstorms continuing for the afternoon, not only the valley, but especially for the coast and inland areas. Temperatures may be a bit cooler for the coast, and with these thunderstorms, you're talking about the potential for gusty winds, brief periods of heavy rainfall, and the potential for some accumulating hail. That can be very dangerous as well. Otherwise, we've got snow in the higher elevations as low as approximately, say, 2,500, 3,000 feet is what we're looking at here. So let's take a look at Futurecast just for the day, all right, for the rest of the day into tonight. Here's 5 p.m. We've got this band of heavier rainfall for the coast and band of heavy snow in the mountains. This will then progress eastward as we go into the evening. 6 p.m., heavy rainfall for Redding, maybe some thunderstorms, heavy snow in the mountains, very good possibility for chain requirements on I-5, and not to mention Highway 299 west of I-5. 8 o'clock tonight, we're seeing now that heavier band pushing through Red Bluff, maybe some thunderstorms, still looking at heavy snow in the mountains, creating some possible travel delays. Then Chico and Oroville by 10 o'clock tonight, you could be looking at those thunderstorms with that heavy snow continuing in the mountains. You'll notice it is getting quieter behind that, but there is going to be some more activity coming in for Saturday and even into your Sunday. Here's your 7-day outlook. I am expecting to see snow levels on average dropping to as low as 1,000 feet for Saturday and Sunday, and then slowly ramping up again to about 3,000 feet by next Wednesday. But we still have a chance for precipitation all the way through the middle of next week. Then by around Thursday of next week, it may begin to dry out. And that's the same story here for the valley, maybe even some thunderstorms with continued gusty winds here for today, and even gusty winds at times throughout the weekend, drying out by Thursday. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the coast. A chance for thunderstorms for the next 3 days. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, and off and on chances for showers for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Same story for Weaverville in Trinity County. 1,000-foot snow levels. Weaverville, Hayfork, you can see some snow over the weekend. And then, of course, those snow levels start to climb as we get into the middle of next week, and then dry, most likely, by next Thursday. So that's your forecast. If that's all you need from the forecast, you're done. You can head out for your day and be good to go. Now, but for those of you who want more detail, this is when you stick around and watch the much more detailed forecast. So here's a look at Crescent City. Look at that, actually seeing some blue skies. We're getting some calm. Now, the thing is, with this type of storm system that we're dealing with here is there are times where you see stormy weather, right? Gusty winds, heavy rainfall, snow, the works, right? And then it calms out a little bit. You see clear skies out in Crescent City. That wasn't the case this morning. It was gusty and rainy, right? But that's going to change again as we go later today and into tonight and tomorrow. So again, we'll take a little more detail what that means here, but take a look at Lake Oroville. There you can see the wind kind of blowing a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible, but it looks like it's a little breezy out at Lake Oroville. You can kind of see the lake here. You can see the ripples in the water. Certainly not big enough to do any surfing or anything, but yeah, I mean, you can see the wind certainly kind of making the water a little choppy out there at Lake Oroville. Take a look at Lassen Park. Absolutely gorgeous. Always nice to see that site there. Just looks like some of the low clouds out there. So we look at our headlines. We got the chance for thunderstorms today through the weekend, heavy rain, snow, and gusty winds. And of course, you got the travel delays most likely through the weekend, and this cool and unsettled weather pattern, it's going to stick around most likely through at least the middle of next week. So the high impact, I think the highest will be tonight and into tomorrow morning. Says travel not recommended for today. I would say take it easy if you have to. Most likely as we go into tonight and into tomorrow morning, that's when travel is mostly not recommended, okay? But as we go into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, maybe things will get a little bit better, and then I would say that you should travel with caution on Sunday, because even though conditions may not be as bad on Sunday, which we'll talk about in more detail, you still need to, move forward with caution. So let's talk about that, why conditions are expected to get better. So here's the area of low pressure, cold air within this trough of low pressure right here. This right here is the main storm system, okay? So when we say storm, this is what we're talking about. The storm, what we saw yesterday, that was a system that passed through and rotated around this area of low pressure and was the main cold front associated with the storm system that gave us the gusty winds, the heavy rainfall, the thunderstorms, the hail, and not to mention eventually lowering those snow levels. But this is what's going to happen is you've got this flow around the area of low pressure. Right here is what we call the trough axis of this trough of low pressure. The center of it right here, you kind of cut it in half. The east side of it is where we have the most amount of instability. This is where you see most of the storm activity. This is where you see the strongest winds, the rain, the snow, and of course, as I mentioned, the gusty winds. As you get on the west side of the trough of low pressure, there is still some instability, just not nearly as strong. So as we start getting more and more on the west side of the storm starts getting weaker and weaker, and we start feeling less intensity of the storm. So as we progress through time, going into Saturday, here's the area of low pressure, still fairly strong, but you can see the trough of axis now is pretty much right on top of us. So the most intense part of the storm is right here, less intense for us right here. However, that being said, it's still going to be strong. We're still going to be looking at gusty winds, rain, thunderstorms, low snow levels. Then as we go into Sunday, here's what happens. A couple of things. Number one, you'll notice the lower area of low pressure disappears. That's because when you have a closed area of low pressure, that's when it's the strongest. When you open up that area of low pressure, what happens is it's showing signs that the storm is getting weaker. And you no longer have that stronger area of low pressure in place. But we still have the trough and we still have the storm in place, okay? So the colder air is in place, snow levels are still low, but the intensity of anything that we see as far as the wind, the rain, and the snow, just not as intense if we are on this side of the storm. Okay, now we go into Monday. Now we're definitely on the west side of the storm, right? But there still is some flow coming in right into Northern California. That'll probably keep those winds up a little bit. And there are still going to be some disturbances coming through that'll give us a continued chance for showers even on Monday. Even Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, there you can see some of that colder air that's going to be pooling down to the south and east. So here's this swirling area of low pressure. You can kind of see it all in motion now. Here's this swirling area of low pressure. That's the center of the low right there. Speckled clouds. That's the cold air associated. You can clearly see the trough of low pressure. So this is all that cooler air pulling down. Now, you can also see the flow around the area of low pressure. And what happens is you get these disturbances that get caught up in that flow, and these disturbances as they move through, you see the heavier rainfall, you see the heavier snow, you see the gusty winds. Behind it, you can see more disturbances that'll be coming in over the next couple of days. Severe outlook. This is the area of green. This is typical for us. This is basically the Storm Prediction Center saying you got a chance for thunderstorms. Most likely not severe, but something worth watching. When these thunderstorms develop, here's what I expect. Brief periods of heavy rainfall, gusty to possibly even damaging winds, accumulating hail, which can be just as dangerous, if not sometimes more dangerous than snow. And then, of course, you've got lightning that'll be associated with that storm as well. Now, as we go into tomorrow, best chances will be for the coast and even most of the valley as well. As we take you into Sunday, best chances will be on the coast, but I'm not completely ruling out the chance for some rumbles of thunder even for the valley on Sunday. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast. There you can see at 3 p.m., there's the heavy snow to the north and east. There are the thunderstorms to the west. This right here, I'm like making this big line here. Got to really get perspective here. This right here is the main band of heavier rainfall and, of course, snow. So as we progress through time, there's 6 p.m. There's the heavier rainfall, possibly thunderstorms for places like Redding. But look at this. This deep blue, that is heavy snow. That is going to mean delays on I-5. That's going to mean delays on Highway 299 because most likely there will be chain requirements. And if it's heavy enough, you're talking about the potential for a closure as well. Here's 8 p.m. Look at the thunderstorms developing here possibly for the valley. Now we're talking about the potential for that accumulating hail and gusty winds and heavy rainfall. But look at the heavy snow that's also associated with it. This is down to about 1,500 to 2,500 feet. Hayfork, Weaverville, I think you're going to see snow out of this evening. Now we take you into Friday tonight at 10 p.m. Heaviest snow is now off to the east. We're still seeing the potential for thunderstorms in the valley, even tonight. Behind it, notice it's beginning to kind of dissipate a little bit, becoming more in the way of isolated activity here. That's typical of these cold storm systems. But look what's happening. We're still within that flow. Remember I was talking about that flow? We're still within that flow of the activity coming through, so still some showers, even at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, still some snow flurries. So I expect that the most treacherous travel conditions will be tonight and early tomorrow morning. Check this out. As we go into the noon on Saturday, we're still seeing snow flurries out there. We're still seeing chances for showers in the valley, but notice it's not as heavy. Remember I was talking about when you start getting in the center and west side of the storm, things get a little less intense. And we're certainly seeing signs of that here by the noon hour on Saturday. Even though we go into Saturday at 6 p.m., you can see a little pocket of heavier snow here, but overall, this snow, this blue is not as dark blue as we're seeing here for today and tonight. And we still have the chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Now we go into Sunday. Snow level is still around 1,000 feet, by the way. So there you can see 5 a.m. Sunday, snow flurries. Once again, you see how it's not as widespread. Just those scattered snow flurries in the higher elevations, maybe a shower or thunderstorm along the coast for Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. And again, you can see some of the scattered showers, but not widespread and nothing terribly heavy. Chances for thunderstorms are slimmer by the time we get to Sunday for the valley, but still a chance for some lightning strikes for the coast. Then we go into Sunday, and yeah, there may be some development, especially if we get enough clearing on Sunday. That'll be enough what we call convection, where we get the daytime heating, that heat rises, and we see thunderstorms develop. So we could see thunderstorms develop by Sunday afternoon, and there's that snow still in the higher elevations. Now, as I mentioned, we may even see this linger on into your Monday as well. So let's take a look at the road conditions here for 6 o'clock this evening. There you can see I-5 getting within the frozen precipitation. Not as bad for Highway 299. There may still be chances that it won't be completely snow on the highway there. But at this point, we're beginning to see the transition over, because look at as we go into tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now it's snow on Highway 299. Now it's all snow on I-5 north of Redding. And of course, snow everywhere else. So this is what I was talking about. Tonight, tomorrow morning is when the conditions will be the worst. And it's still not getting much better even into the mid-morning hours on Saturday. But they may start to improve by Saturday afternoon into Sunday. Look at the storm impacts for tomorrow. You know, if you saw what we saw here for today, we were seeing a lot of reds and purples in there in the major to extreme. But as we go into tomorrow overall, we're more within the minor to moderate category. But if you look on Highway 299 in the moderate category, but there is kind of in the, minor category, but it is kind of in the moderate to even close to major category for places in eastern portions of Del Norte County, and not to mention Humboldt County as well. So that could create some problems on Highway 199. And of course, you're seeing the heavier snow down over the Sierra. But bottom line, I still expect to see a lot of chain requirements through the day tomorrow. Sunday, you'll notice Now we're seeing a lot of the yellows disappearing and see more of this gray color, which is limited. So we still have, at least, especially out in eastern Del Norte and Humboldt counties, still a little bit of red and orange, but again, we're starting to see conditions just improve slightly. Again, illustrating what I'm talking about, the positioning of where we are and where that storm is over us and what part of the storm is over us. If we're in the eastern side of the storm, heavier. Western side of the storm, not as bad. All right. Forecast snow totals, grain of salt. Never can look at these and go, this is exactly what we're going to see. I mean, it's indicating and showing some of that sign of that mix that we could see for the Redding area. But overall, if we see anything, maybe City of Shasta Lake, a light dusting. Maybe even as far south as, say, North Redding. But honestly, I don't, at this point, see a whole lot going on as far as snow is concerned for the valley. It's the higher elevations. So through Sunday, 5 p.m., I think we'll easily get into the high end of what we're seeing here from Mount Shasta, if not higher than what you're seeing there. Hayfork, Weaverville, I think these are pretty good representations. Maybe, I'd say maybe 6 to 12, so maybe on the lower end of what we're seeing here. Chester, I think you're more on the higher end. Could you see upwards of 2 feet of snow? I think so. And then as you start getting into the Sierra, now you're talking even more. I mean, in fact, it's the Sierra that's really expected to see upwards of maybe even 10 feet of snow. Now here are the winds. All right, we're talking rain, we're talking thunderstorms, we're talking snow. Now we got to talk about the winds. I mean, it's just one thing after another, right? So here we are. There are the gusty winds, right? That's what we have here for this evening. Now look what happens as we go into Saturday. The winds are still strong, but they're just not as strong. And again, illustrating that we're not in the strongest part of the storm. Now the winds actually may pick up a little bit for your Sunday, but again, not as strong. Once again, illustrating that the part of the storm that we're in is the strongest part of the storm is off to our east. Here's Sunday. Now we're taking in Monday. Now remember I was talking about the flow. Here's the flow, right? But we're still seeing the snow coming in the higher elevations, but really not a lot of rain for the valley, but still maybe a chance for showers for the valley. Then we go into your Tuesday. Look at this. We're still seeing some activity and possibly even Wednesday, and then probably drying out for Thursday of next week. There you can see as we go into Thursday, maybe drying out. And then you can see as we go into Friday, another storm system approaching. Now the timing and the intensity for next week, let's just get through the weekend first because the forecast models are all over the place for next week. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with that. All right, here are your wave heights for your Friday. There you can see we're upwards of around 9 feet along the coast, but of course much higher as we take you out to sea here. So upwards of 19 to even 20 feet. Then, of course, you can see here as we go into your Saturday, those wave heights may start to drop down to about 14 to 15 feet. All right, we're going to wrap things up here with your kind of your deep dive part of the forecast where we kind of take a look at your 7-day outlook just for Redding. And so you can see the windy conditions, showers, thunderstorms today, tomorrow. If we see a mix in Redding, it will be Saturday and Sunday, right? But I don't anticipate any accumulating snow at this point. If we do, maybe a light dusting on Sunday. That's it. Then showers off and on possibly from Monday through Wednesday, most likely drying out by Thursday. So that's the format. Tell me what you think. You got your forecast, just the kind of the bare bones forecast at the very beginning. And for those of you who appreciate that attention to detail, you got that afterwards. So again, tell me what you think in the comment section below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also email me or instant message me on Facebook.